Okay, now we have the Diver Dan tutorial. Now, you can see there's some other files in here. I want to make sure that I have my Diver Dan PSD in my layered PSD folder. That's the most important thing here because that's the one that is new for this particular tutorial. So once we have that, we want to open up the tutorials file again. And now we want to go into the Diver Dan composition. So here's Diver Dan, and let's move our Ocean 720 down to be the background. And now we want to import Diver Dan. So right click and import a new file. And we want to import Diver Dan. We want to import him as composition, retain layer sizes, say open. Yes, that's what we want. Yes, that's what we want. Yes, I understand. Okay. Here's Diver Dan. Let's double click on Diver Dan. And there he is. Now, he needs to be wider. He's not wide enough because we want to move his arms and everything around. So go to Composition, Composition Settings, and let's make Diver Dan 600 pixels wide also. So he's kind of square. And he's 5 seconds long, that's good. And there he is. Now we have room to move his arms and legs. Now, you can see that I already have everything broken into layers. So here's the metal thing, here's his wrist, here's his forearm, here's his shoulder, here's his upper arm, and here's the diver body. We have to go ahead and set the point for rotation for each of the layers. So press the Y. The Y gives you the pan behind tool, that's this. So first we're going to do the metal thing layer. There's transform point. Let's move it to between his thumb and his fingers. Now we'll go to the hand wrist and let's move his rotation point up here to the actual wrist itself. That's where he's going to have his joint move. Let's go to the forearm. Let's move his forearm joint to right in the middle of his elbow. Let's go to the shoulder, and I think the shoulder point can stay right there because it's right in the middle of the round. And let's go to upper arm, and let's put that point near where the shoulder point was. So they're in generally the same location. For the diver, I think that we can put his up in the middle of his little logo on his diving bell hat. Okay, so now we're going to save, Command-S. We want to click in the gray at the bottom of the timeline to desect all of the layers. Now let's go ahead and get the rotation tool, the W. We'll bring up the rotation tool. Now down here in the timeline, we want to press the R. That will bring up, since no layer is selected, it will bring up the rotation aspect for all of the layers. So there you go, rotation. Now we want to turn the stopwatch on for each layer. Okay. And before we actually do move anything, we want to parent the different layers one to the other. So first we'll start with the metal thing and parent it to the hand wrist. We'll go to the hand wrist and parent that to forearm. We'll go to the forearm, we'll parent that to the upper arm. Go to the upper arm and parent that to the shoulder. We'll go to the shoulder and parent that to the diver. And then the diver is parented to none. So now everything is parented to something. Okay, now that we have everything parented, we can start to rotate things. So go to 423 to set keyframe at the end that is basically in the same position so that we can start and stop everything in the same place in case we ever wanted to use this as a looping motion. Okay, now we're going to go somewhere in the middle. So we can move his shoulder and rotate it out. Whoa, that's a little bit too far. The shoulder is controlling the rest of the arm. And now we're going to rotate his arm down a little bit. And rotate the hand and the wrist. And let's go to about here and we can move it. Like that. Now if we press the space bar, you can preview what's happening. And I don't think I moved enough in the beginning there, so I think I'm going to come somewhere in here, and I'm going to move it way up in the other direction. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to go back to the first frame. I'm going to Command-S, and then I'm going to go to the Diver Dan, and I'm going to drag Diver Dan down into the Diver Dan composition. So there he is. So let's take Diver Dan, go to the P, give him a position at the beginning that's way up in the corner. I'm going to get my Move tool, Selection tool, move him way up in the corner, and I'm going to hold down Shift and do Scale, and we're going to make him a lot smaller. So let's make him about 25% at that point, and then we're going to move to the last frame, and let's move him way down at the bottom, and we'll make him 100 or even bigger, 100% or even larger, and then we can go ahead and let's make him even bigger than that. Let's make him like 200%. And then somewhere in the middle, here he is, we want to actually have him rotating around. So let's press R, and we'll go ahead back to frame 0, and set a keyframe there, go to the middle, and let's go ahead and put in 2 times rotation, and then let's go to the end and put in -2 times rotation. And we'll see how that looks. We'll go back to the beginning at 0, and let's Command-S, and then let's hit the RAM preview. So that's kind of fun. So let's save that. And there you have it.